cry. In the back of my mind, I told myself we can bring it like it was. But James Farr's reality check hit me like a ton of bricks. My community is being murdered. I said murdered, not by the Altadena Eaton Canyon fire, but by the people we elect to protect us, and by greedy and gatekeeping nonprofits who cannot see the forest for the trees. For the first time since the fire, I truly feel and understand my wife's inconsolable pain. Because I'm struggling to find a path to recovery and at least some form of normalcy. My community is crumbling right in front of my face. Lack of funding to rebuild is slowly destroying us. Many of us can no longer hold out, and developers are gobbling up our property. When I hear voices like Tavis Smiley and James Farr speak truth to power on KBLA Talk 1580, it reminds me that we're not crazy, just unheard. Make no mistake here, KBLA delegation, this is war, and we the people of Black Altadena are losing. It's like waiting for reparation. Not gonna happen, brother. In this new orange man world, no one, no entity is persuaded by right or wrong. There is no consequence for doing the wrong thing and no accolades or support for doing the right thing. Will war-torn Black Altadena survive? Your guess is as good as mine. But what have I got to lose? I'm in my 70s and don't have time to wait. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once suggested that riots break out when people have no hope. But there's nothing left to burn down in Altadena. I wish I could say I remain hopeful that my beloved community will rise again like a phoenix from the ashes. I wish I could. With a KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Pasadena Community Coalition at gmail.com. Reach out to me. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Protests and anthems, yes, we chanting a movement of people. It's like we dancing to the ministry of, it's the energy of, in memory of them that we love. The trinity of the people, the beast, the power, the truth. We speak the powers even louder. We can say it blacker, we can say it prouder. A woman vice president that went to Howard. Now we talk helping black businesses, and our differences is magnificent. Bringing light to the void where the prisons is. I was told good life is where forgiveness lives. The ascension is to leave what's left behind and feed the seeds with deeds that bless the mind, caress the mind, and question justify. With you and God in time, my best align.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai, your host and White House correspondent. This doesn't look like the White House because I'm not at the White House today. I am in San Francisco today, where this weekend I had a chance to visit with some family, and I'll be in studio in LA tomorrow. But, wherever I am, I'm in touch, and so you be in touch. Follow me on all the social media platforms at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Just type in Dr. Nii-Q, DRNIIQ, and there I pop right on up, fresh for you to follow. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app to listen to us live or on demand, or simply tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580. For added measure, subscribe to A More Perfect Union podcast. That way you'll never miss an episode. Now, talking about not missing out on anything, let me just give a shout out to our friends over at Walk Good LA. I caught this on social, and chances are you might have, but if you didn't, you should know about the People's Pace. The People's Pace. It's a 5K and 10K run walk. It's happening Sunday, September 21st, 2025 at Kenneth Hahn Park. That's where it's going down. It's your race. It's your pace. Walk Good LA is inviting all of us to Kenneth Hahn Park on September 21st for their annual 5K, 10K run walk fundraiser. This isn't just a race, it's a movement, they say, a movement to bring together the city of LA. It's open to all ages and all paces. We are celebrating every step and every stride. If you're wondering where you can go to sign up, registration is officially open, and early signups get a special discount only until July 28th. And so don't wait. Head to the link in their bio. If you go to Walk Good LA on Instagram, go to the link in their bio to register and start building your team. Your registration includes a bib, a t-shirt, and a medal. Again, follow Walk Good LA to stay up to date with further announcements. But don't be surprised if you see some folks from around here at KBLA participating in that run walk. And big shout out to Etienne Maurice and Ivy Coco, the whole Cheryl Lee Ralph family. You're doing really marvelous work, and we love to spread the word. Now, it's time for your national news roundup. It's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. Kicking us off, USA Today is reporting that Harvard and the Trump administration are facing off in court over canceled funding. That's right. Harvard University urged a federal judge to order the Trump administration to restore about $2.5 billion in canceled federal grants and cease efforts to cut off research funding to the prestigious Ivy League school. But a lawyer for the Trump administration told the judges that the canceled grants reflect a government priority not to send money to institutions that practice anti-Semitism. The court hearing before the U.S. District Judge today lasted more than 2 hours, but ended without a ruling. The case marks a crucial moment in the White House's escalating conflict with Harvard, which has been in the administration's crosshairs after it rejected a list of demands to make changes to its governance, hiring, and admissions practices back in April. USA Today also reporting that Hunter Biden says that Joe Biden was taking Ambien before that disastrous debate against Trump. Hunter Biden, the son of former President Joe Biden, says that his father was taking the sleep medication Ambien before his disastrous debate with Donald Trump that led to Joe Biden ending his 2024 reelection bid amid pressure from top Democrats. Hunter Biden raised the president's use of Ambien, which hasn't previously been reported, during a more than 3-hour interview on the YouTube channel, Channel 5, with Andrew Callahan that aired on Today. The former president's son also unleashed expletive-laced attacks targeting actor George Clooney, Democratic strategist James Carville, and David Axelrod, and other prominent Democrats who publicly called for Biden to drop out of the race after the debate. Ambien, also known by its generic name, Zolpidem, I think I got that right, is used to treat insomnia by helping individuals fall asleep quicker and stay asleep. Joe Biden, now 82, and his former White House aides have previously blamed the president's particularly busy schedule that stretched for his poor debate performance, but have not publicly mentioned the use of Ambien. And so there you have it. We heard about the Ambien defense. Moving along, some heartbreaking news that has shaken us all. NBC News and so many outlets are reporting that Malcolm Jamal-Warner, actor best known as Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, drowns at the age of 54. Malcolm Jamal-Warner, again, best known for starring in The Cosby Show, has died at the age of 54. Warner drowned after he was swept out to sea in Costa Rica, according to authorities there. Costa Rica's Judicial Investigation Department confirmed that Malcolm Jamal-Warner drowned Sunday afternoon on a beach on the Caribbean coast. He was swimming at Playa Coselas in Limon province when a current dragged him deeper into the sea. People at the scene pulled him back to the beach, but first responders from Costa Rica's Red Cross found him without vital signs, and he was taken to the morgue. Malcolm Jamal-Warner, a New Jersey native, first rose to prominence for his role as Theo Huxtable, Bill Cosby's fictional son in The Cosby Show, which ran for 8 seasons on NBC from 1984 to the early 1990s. He was nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Supporting Actor. He went on to star in Malcolm and Eddie opposite Eddie Griffin, and tried his hand at directing. His director credits include episodes of The Cosby Show, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Kenan and Kel, and all of that. We are all going to miss Malcolm Jamal-Warner. It's hard to imagine him not here, as so many of us grew up watching him on TV and relating to his antics on The Cosby Show. When we come forward, I'll be joined with 2 of my political contributors, William Godwin, former White House fellow, also Isaac Wilson, former South Carolina Democratic Party chair, also a Democratic strategist, both in community, both, I'm sure, with their own memories of Malcolm Jamal-Warner, who has passed away at the age of 54. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. And I thank you.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and Brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hit me! National news, the consequence, informed opinion, and analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai and really delighted to welcome my guest, William Godwin. William Godwin is a former White House fellow from the Biden-Harris White House. He's also former city council president for Gary, Indiana. Welcome back, William.
Thank you. It's good to be back. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. It's good to have you. And we're also joined with Isaac Wilson, who is the former chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party, also Democratic strategist. Welcome back to the show, Isaac.
Good to be here. Good to be here. See my familiar brothers.
Well, yes, very much so. And today there are brothers across the country and really around the world with heavy hearts. So many heavy hearts after learning about the death of Malcolm Jamal-Warner. We all learned to love him as Theo Huxtable on the hit show The Cosby Show. Obviously, he's gone on to do so many other things as an artist, but I'd be remiss if I didn't give each of you an opportunity to sort of reflect on the life and legacy of Malcolm Jamal-Warner. William, how are you remembering our favorite Theo Huxtable?
You know, The Cosby Show provided a model, right, for a lot of us growing up as kids, and the ability to see a young black man deal with the struggles that we all face, have the aspirations that a lot of us have and had at that time was very inspirational. And so his legacy, I hope, will be one that is positive, that will be remembered, but a reminder that life is short. He's mid-50s, and so it beckons us all, right, to do the most we can while we can with the time that we're given on earth. And he's certainly inspired so many young black boys and perhaps folks of all other races as well.
I think you're absolutely right. Isaac, how are you remembering Malcolm Jamal-Warner?
First, just offer condolences to his family, but I'm going to always remember him for the designer shirt show where he was trying to make a designer shirt because his dad told him that he was not going to pay that much money. So him and Denise tried to make this shirt and it was all just messed up. And then I will never forget him for his show with Griffin and Nicoletta and how they fought and was going back and forth. It just was a funny time. He's a great actor, was a great director. Just going to miss him. And even having to meet him one time, that was incredible just to see Theo. And I didn't call him Malcolm. You're Theo. You're always going to be Theo to me. So we'll always remember him in that way.
Yeah, we certainly will. There was a beautiful interview he did with Bevy Smith that she posted earlier today, where she had asked him about sort of the legacy of the Cosby Show and whether or not the legal challenges that Bill Cosby has had, whether or not that would have an effect on the legacy. And he quoted Keisha Knight Pulliam, who played Rudy Huxtable, in saying that there is nothing that anybody could ever do to take away from the legacy of the Cosby Show. Absolutely. And what that meant to so many people around the world, what it meant to so many of us, what it still continues to mean in our culture. And so I want to echo you, Isaac, in extending our condolences to the family of Malcolm Jamal-Warner. For us, he is our forever Theo Huxtable, but for them, he is their forever Malcolm.
Right.
So before there was a Theo, they fell in love with the Malcolm. And so our thoughts are with them. In other news today, this is also, one that pulls at the heartstrings. USA Today is reporting that Brenonna Taylor's aunt was arrested outside the courthouse ahead of the ex-detective's sentencing. Bianca Austin, who is the aunt of Brenonna Taylor, was among 4 people arrested in downtown Louisville as protesters awaited the sentencing of the former Louisville Metro Police Department detective Brett Hankinson. In a video that was captured by one of the local publications, Austin was seen standing outside of the federal building as cars continued to try and move down the street. Austin is listed as an inmate at this hour at the Louisville Metro Department of Corrections. That was as of 5 p.m. local time, and is charged with disorderly conduct and obstructing a highway. This family's been through a lot. And just last week, the Department of Justice announced that they would basically endorsed this officer serving just one day. Just one day, this officer who was convicted involved with the killing of Brenonna Taylor. What do you make of the aunt being arrested ahead of this detective sentencing? Isaac?
I think it's a tragic thing to where we can't express our First Amendment rights. And I think it's a double down to say, hey, we're in charge and we're going to continue this saga of that blue and white is going to be right and blue and white is going to be on top, and you're going to listen to it one way or another. And so it's sending a clear message that we can go to an apartment and shoot it up, and we're not going to be arrested, and we're not going to pay for the crime that was committed, and it was murder. And they're letting people know we're continuing with it, with her aunt in the same family. That's how callous we are, and we're going to show it to you because we have a leader who breathes it, and this is what we can do, and nobody's going to do anything about it. And so the disrespect of it all is what makes me infuriated by it. It's very disrespectful that we can't even on a day like yesterday and today that we can't even begin to even wrap our heads around the disappointment in our justice system. You're going to arrest somebody of that same family that close to her instead of giving her a slap on the wrist and say, hey, go on about your business. We understand. So you can't say you understand and arrest her and book her. I think it's insane.
William, what do you make of this statement? There's a statement that the Louisville Metro Police Department spokesperson, Matthew Sanders, put out just earlier today saying, quotes, "We understand this case caused pain and damaged trust between our department and the community. We particularly respect and value the First Amendment. However, what we saw today in front of the courthouse in the street was not safe, acceptable, or legal. Creating confrontation, kicking vehicles, or otherwise creating an unsafe environment will not be tolerated." What do you make of that statement from the Louisville Police Department?
You know, I think he's giving the party line, right? And when I think about Breonna's aunt, right, she's to me marrying Black joy, Black pain, a sense of self-agency that culminated in civil disobedience, right? Yes, what I'm doing may be unsafe, may be illegal, may be against the rules, but in this moment of tragedy, in this moment of decision for what will happen because of what happened to my niece, I'm going to protest in the way that I want to, regardless of what the rules are, regardless of what the laws are. And so I see it as self-agency. I think of Mamie Till, right? When people said this is not exactly the same, but this sense that I'm going to put it on display. I'm going to do what you don't expect me to do in reaction to the Black suffering, the Black pain that I'm feeling. And we know that this issue continues even with William McNeil, right? And the video that is circulating that Ben Crump put out and the young man in Jacksonville, Florida. And so this issue of police brutality and the interaction of Black men and Black women with law enforcement continues to be a challenge, and ask all of us, right, to use our roles, use our positions in our agency to raise the flag on this issue.
CNN is reporting that a federal judge sentenced the former Kentucky police officer to nearly 3 years in prison for using excessive force during the 2020 deadly Breonna Taylor raid, declining a U.S. Department of Justice recommendation that he be given no prison time. For our folks who may be a little less familiar, Brett Hankinson fired 10 shots during the raid, but didn't hit anyone. He was the only officer on the scene charged in Breonna Taylor's death. He's the first person sentenced to prison in the case that rocked the city of Louisville and spanned weeks of street protests over police brutality 5 years ago. Isaac, I've got to ask you, was justice served here? The fact that the Department of Justice had recommended that he served maybe a day in jail, but with the judge, in fact, delivering a sentence of nearly 3 years in prison, for his involvement in Brenonna Taylor's killing. Has justice been served?
In no form of the word has justice been served. And again, this is from the MAGA playbook that we're going to protect our own. You're not going to be protected by the people that are sworn to protect you, but we're going to protect them. And they're showing up with bright colors. So justice wasn't served. And I hate to say it, but this is the reality of Black people in America, that the cops can do what they want. They can come and harass you. They can shoot up your home, and justice won't be served because it's two justice systems. And we on the bad end of the wrong justice system.
When we come forward, we are going to dig a little bit deeper. The Trump administration has released MLK Jr.'s assassination files. Who knows what will turn up from these files, but we're going to dig behind the headlines in this story when we come forward with two of our solid political contributors, Isaac Wilson, Democratic strategist and former South Carolina Democratic Party chair. We're also joined with William Godwin, the former White House fellow in the Biden-Harris White House, also former Gary City Council president. We got the right ones for you. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
The audience is listening. Thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black New York City Mayor Eric Adams is pushing back after Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem blamed sanctuary cities for a recent shooting by an undocumented immigrant.
Let everyone know that I have nothing to do with the rules that are put in place.
Adams defended his record and pointed to former Governor Andrew Cuomo's bail reform laws as part of the issue. Black Atlanta rapper Cash Out, born John Gibson, has been sentenced to life in prison plus 70 years after being convicted in a RICO and rape case involving forced sex work. And President Trump is taking aim at former President Obama on Truth Social, sharing an AI-generated video of Obama being arrested in the Oval Office. The post followed claims by the Director of National Intelligence that Obama officials faked intel on Russian interference in 2016, claims Democrats say are politically driven. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
A crash in Glendale is history. 134 eastbound before San Fernando Road. We're still looking at a slow drive out of Burbank, leaving almost Buena Vista. It's starting to really thin out now. Now, an earlier problem, also wrapping up this one in Grand Terrace. This is the drive on the 215 northbound at Iowa Avenue. A 4-car crash. They were stopping all lanes, but they're getting things situated to get some traffic rolling again. And watch for some slow traffic away from Center Street. Also, let's head out to the Cajon Pass. This is the 15, making your way northbound. It's becoming busy from Glen Helen all the way to Kenwood.
Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Veteran point guard Chris Paul is coming back to the Clippers for his 21st and final season in the NBA. The 40-year-old Paul signed a one-year deal with the Clippers as a free agent. He told the team he intends to retire after the season. Paul played 6 years with the Clippers from 2011 to 2017 and became one of the team's all-time performers. Paul's 4,023 assists with the Clippers is a franchise record. Paul's family lives in L.A. He told his agent he wanted to end his career with his family. Paul chose the Clippers over Milwaukee, Dallas, and Charlotte. The Washington Commanders are not the only sports team President Trump is demanding to change their nickname. Trump wants the Major League Baseball Cleveland Guardians to go back to their original name of the Indians. Trump wants the Commanders to return to the Redskins. Owners of both teams have said they are not changing their nicknames. no debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Recently, I listened to a Tavis Smiley show conversation with James Farr. At one point, James said something that caught me off guard, not because it wasn't true, but because it is. Black Altadena is gone. I know it may seem stupid and non-productive, but I stopped in that moment listening to Tavis and James. I broke down and cried. In the back of my mind, I told myself we can bring it back like it was. But James Farr's reality check hit me like a ton of bricks. My community is being murdered. I said murdered, not by the Altadena Eaton Canyon fire, but by the people we elect to protect us, and by greedy and gatekeeping nonprofits who cannot see the forest for the trees. For the first time since the fire, I truly feel and understand my wife's inconsolable pain. Because I'm struggling to find a path to recovery and at least some form of normalcy. My community is crumbling right in front of my face. Lack of funding to rebuild is slowly destroying us. Many of us can no longer hold out, and developers are gobbling up our property. When I hear voices like Tavis Smiley and James Farr speak truth to power on KBLA Talk 1580, it reminds me that we're not crazy, just unheard. Make no mistake here, KBLA delegation, this is war. And we, the people of Black Altadena, are losing. It's like waiting for reparation. Not gonna happen, brother. In this new orange man world, no one, no entity is persuaded by right or wrong. There is no consequence for doing the wrong thing and no accolades or support for doing the right thing. Will war-torn Black Altadena survive? Your guess is as good as mine. But what have I got to lose? I'm in my 70s and don't have time to wait. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once suggested that riots break out when people have no hope. But there's nothing left to burn down in Altadena. I wish I could say I remain hopeful that my beloved community will rise again like a phoenix from the ashes. I wish I could. With a KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Pasadena Community Coalition at gmail.com. Reach out to me. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, or AD. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? You may be able to reduce your risk by managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, being physically active, eating healthy, and exercising your mind. To learn more about AD, the importance of early diagnosis and intervention, and a potential treatment option, visit treatalzearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
Now back to building a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai, and really delighted to be in conversation with my brothers. Isaac Wilson, he is the former South Carolina Democratic Party chair. He's also a Democratic strategist. We're also joined with William Godwin, a former White House fellow in the Biden-Harris White House, also former Gary City Council president joining me here. These are two VIPs. I'm just glad to be in your presence. What a number of folks in the civil rights community may not be so glad about is the release of the Martin Luther King Jr. FBI file. There are a lot of folks who have not been looking so forward to this, but here we are. The Washington Post reporting that the Trump administration today released more than 230,000 pages of documents related to the assassination of the civil rights leader. The documents were released Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard said as much. She said it was released to fulfill the action that Trump called for in a January executive order. That order also called for the release of files from investigations into the killings of former President John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert F. Kennedy. So I've got to ask you, William, what do you make of this? What do you make of the release of these documents? A lot of folks are saying release the Epstein files.
Yeah.
Those haven't been released, but somehow, some way, MLK's gotten caught up in all this, and his file is released. What do you make of this?
Well, it's sensationalist, and it's certainly a distraction, right? Epstein files have been the focus not only of the left, but really of his own base, right, who are demanding that these files be released to his annoyance. And so it's a convenient distraction while the executive order may have been in January. Why now, right? And to your point, it is very controversial. The latest biography by Jonathan Ive that came out last year, King of Life, very comprehensive, really dove deep, right, into some of those controversial sexual allegations in terms of adultery and all the rest that has often been rumored about, right, and written about in certain silos. But putting that out there, and I'm sure there's going to be even more salacious material. My concern, and I think it's the same as what Martin Luther King III and his sister Bernice have raised, is to not be distracted by elements of King's personal life that may or may not be true. We know that there was a vicious attack on him, given his leadership, given his opinions, and given the strength of his movement, that we lose focus on what he stood for, on his values, and on what we are called to do, to continue to create the beloved community.
Isaac, how do you think this is playing in places like South Carolina? Certainly, King was from Georgia, but he was a son of the South. We know this is a president that has, who believes that he has cornered the market on the faith community. Seems to, there are some people out there that seem to think that this president, has been ordained, shall we say, that his presidency has been anointed of sorts. How do you reconcile that? If you're a supporter of Trump, how do you reconcile that idea with what looks like, an active smear campaign against one great American, Martin Luther King Jr.?
I echo what my good brother, Mr. Godwin over there said. This is a distraction. And this is something that for Black Americans in the South, there is nothing that's going to come out of these King files that we're going to be like, oh, well, we didn't know that. Oh, we didn't okay. We know some stuff. Some stuff happened. Okay. There's no way that some of the stuff couldn't have happened. Being a man in the South at the time, or whatnot. So there's nothing gonna be new. They're not releasing the wiretaps. That's what you really want to kind of get your hands on and listen to, but not releasing that. But the paperwork, we don't care about that. And we know that this is a distraction from Donald Trump. Release the Epstein files. Let's talk about that, not about Dr. King. Let the man rest. He did what he did. What he didn't do. His family is still fighting for the things that he's doing. We're living for what he fought for, and we're living in that moment now, and still have a ways to go. Let him rest. Let's talk about what you're doing now while you're living. Okay, let's give Trump the stuff he's trying to do to Dr. King. Let's give it to you while you're alive, so you have a chance to respond and be held accountable to yours. He's going on. He's going to glory. Let's talk about Donald Trump. And so, a great distraction, and Donald Trump is the bigger bearer of that than anybody.
Well, we shall see. We're gonna see what happens with these Epstein files. I feel like every time you say Epstein, Donald Trump twitches, and so he's gonna keep twitching until something gives. But speaking of Trump, he did something that was really strange, even for him. NPR reporting that Trump's spy chief claims that the Obama administration manufactured intel on Russia. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence published the in a series of recent Trump administration reports, published information aimed at scrutinizing years-old intelligence community conclusions about Russia's interference in the 2016 U.S. presidential election in favor of Donald Trump. For years, President Trump has spread disinformation about those conclusions, calling the entire Russia investigation a hoax, despite supporting evidence that has been systematically reviewed by intelligence agencies, lawmakers, and department lawyers. We even saw in those files Obama officials exchange correspondence about Russia's attempts at election interference. I don't know if you all saw this, but on Truth Social, President Trump had posted a video, an AI-generated video, that showed him and President Obama in the Oval Office and the former president being detained. It's quite strange that the current president would post something like that. William, I've got to ask you, as somebody that is no stranger to the West Wing and decorum in the West Wing and the decorum of a president and a senior staff, what do you make of that Truth Social post that was put up showcasing, the current president smirking while this AI generated video of the former president being detained?
It's totally disrespectful, and it follows a line of actions that they're trying to say are maybe they're just trying to be funny or trying to be sarcastic, right? We saw the image of Trump 2028 at one point was hanging on the walls as an image of the Oval Office. And so they're really desecrating the office, right? And minimizing what it means to be the president and lack of respect for former presidents. This is, again, another distraction. It's an attempt to weaken criticism, to weaken the strength of Democratic Party leaders who remain very popular, and certainly Barack Obama remains very popular. But it also raises a legal question, right? Because the Supreme Court last year, right, made some important decisions around presidential immunity and what happens when someone is taking official actions. So even if, which I doubt, there is legitimate evidence to suggest that Obama himself were directly involved in some type of conspiracy to falsify evidence of Russian interference, I think it's probably a moot legal point if, in fact, it was part of his official acts. And that's, again, to be defined. And folks like Justice Sotomayor raised that issue because it can be something that Trump celebrated for his ability to do whatever he wants to do, but it might challenge what Tulsi Gabbard appears to be doing. But I think it's just politics.
Isaac, the New York Times is reporting on this story. They're saying that the fake video purports to show FBI agents bursting into a meeting, pushing Mr. Obama into a kneeling position and putting him in handcuffs as Mr. Trump looks on smiling while the song YMCA by the Village People plays. Later, the fake video shows Mr. Obama in an orange jumpsuit pacing in a cell. The start of the video shows a compilation of actual footage of Democratic leaders, including Mr. Obama and former President Biden, saying no one is above the law. We know what happens when lone wolves out there take information, they take this political rhetoric to the next level. We have seen evidence of this, not just in your home state of South Carolina, but we've seen this in different parts of the country. How worried are you that someone might see this footage and believe it to be real and may make some sort of conclusion, some interpretation that may continue to inflict harm on others? To what degree do you think videos like this sort of incite the sort of, toxic political energy that turns into political violence?
It worries me bad, especially for those who are not knowledgeable, and they get their source of news from the little tidbits of videos like that, and they don't know what AI really can do. So I'm very worried in that manner. And this is just a way for the Republican Party and Donald Trump to scare people to go away from the Democratic Party. Oh, they've been lying to you all these years. This is another thing that they're lying to you. This is what they were really doing. This is what they really meant. And it's just an attempt for them to get those votes for 28. So Donald Trump's not running, but Donald Trump wants his MAGA regime to continue after he's gone, because it begins to be his legacy. So don't think for a moment that he's stopping campaigning for 28. It's just going to be another candidate, but they're going to be on the shoulders of Donald Trump. So this right here is an attempt now for the midterms to say, hey, Democrats aren't good people, and your good president who you think is all, macho and the man and your favorite president, he ain't so good. And so for those people who are not knowledgeable, they will believe it, and they will turn away from the Democratic Party.
Before we let you go, William, I want to give you an opportunity to have sort of the final word on this. Again, you're a former White House fellow. If there was a former president that had put out a video like this when you were back in the White House, how do you think the Biden-Harris White House would respond? How do you think, the media environment that existed really just a year ago might have responded?
They certainly would not have gotten the pass that Donald Trump continues to get, whether it's posting himself as the Pope, whether it's the Trump 2020-28 hat in the Oval Office, whether it's the trophy, right, that he took from the recent victors. And I mean, it's an assault on the media, right? And they have given up, right? They're afraid. He will sue them. He will taunt them. And so it just goes on and on. And I think that he's getting a lot of passes, even on his health. And I wish him great health. I don't wish ill on anyone. But that's another reason I think he wants to distract and belittle other very popular, strong, healthy, tall presidents, right? Like an Obama. And when we look at his legs, right? Trump's legs appear to be, obviously, he has a condition, right? So there's another way in which you want to diminish, right, someone else that people might see as strong, especially when they're on the other side. But I want to celebrate you, Dr. Corte, for your ability to get in there and to have a voice and to give us a voice by asking questions directly to President Trump. And so I think I want to celebrate you for being in those spaces and to continue to be in those spaces as a voice for us.
Well, I appreciate it. This is all a public service at the end of the day, and all of us are a part of that public service in one form or another. But thank you for that recognition, William. I also want to give a shout out to Morris Phillips and all the folks who are streaming us live on YouTube. Morris makes a really good point. He says, make a video with the little girl on a date with Trump. Fight back. Darn it. That's what he says. Right? I mean, there are a number of people out there that say, fight fire with fire. Point taken there. And I think there are a lot of folks who can see right through this release of the MLK files. Morris also saying release the Epstein files. If you can release, over 200,000 files related to MLK, then you can certainly do a whole lot better with Jeffrey Epstein. We'll have to leave it there. My thanks to both Isaac Wilson and William Godwin. We'll see you all back again soon. When we come forward, the quiet part out loud. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
You have cancer. The 3 words no one wants to hear. Of the cancers that impact our community, lung cancer is the most dangerous. More people succumb to lung cancer than colon, breast, and prostate combined.
Most of us never had the opportunity to meet.
And cases for Black women are rising. Early detection and comprehensive treatment is the best way to beat this dreaded disease. Providence is a research leader in multi-cancer early detection, offering blood tests that identify fast-spreading cancers that don't show symptoms in early stages. The Providence Los Angeles Integrated Network Cancer Program determines best protocols for each patient interacting with specialists who share experiences, perspectives, and new findings specific to each case. With over 1,000 board-certified physicians, including top oncologists, surgeons, radiologists, and nurse specialists, Providence delivers whole-person care that understands your culture, values, preferences, and priorities. So, if you hear the words, "you have cancer," all you need is faith and providence.org/cancer.
During this time, it's important for everyone to know your rights. The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution protects every one of us, regardless of immigration status. The 4th Amendment requires a judicial warrant to search your home. The 5th protects your right to remain silent. And the 6th gives you the right to an attorney. Just remember,
No warrant, no key, my privacy. You don't have to speak. No lawyer inside. Don't say a thing. Yeah, we all got rights. Hey, we all got rights.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We face tragedy, but we don't fall into despair. We continue our work to build.
Most of us never had the opportunity to meet him as you did. We remember, that scene where you said, "I brought you into this world, I can take you out." Knowing him, how will you remember him?
Like Ennis. Truthful, and he knew when to just walk away from a conversation without being rude. Malcolm did his best. He was always a great studier, and I enjoyed working with him very much.
You all have not spoken for a while, right?
No, that's not true. Malcolm calls here regularly. Okay. And my reputation with him is he doesn't need to talk. He needs to listen.
Okay.
Well, that's not true at all, but I just have information to give to him in the belief that my Cosby grandfather gave information, and I always thought that that's the kind of grandfather I would be. He was very professional, 54 years old, and always studied, always knew his part. He would have been one of Spencer Tracy's favorite actors. He never bumped into the furniture. He always knew his lines, and he always knew where to go.
You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai, and just moments ago, that was Bill Cosby. It was Bill Cosby himself. He had participated in an interview with ABC News Live, where he was reflecting on the life and the legacy of Malcolm Jamal-Warner, his television son. As we had shared at the top of this show, Malcolm Jamal-Warner, known as Theo Huxtable, is probably one of the more famous roles, if not the most famous role he ever played, that endeared himself into the culture, into the hearts of so many across this country and around the world. Malcolm Jamal-Warner died in a swimming accident in Costa Rica. He was swimming at Playa Coselas in Limon province when currents dragged him deeper into the sea. People at the scene pulled him back to the beach, but first responders from Costa Rica's Red Cross found him without vital signs, and he had passed away. And so we are remembering the life and legacy of Malcolm Jamal-Warner. And one of the folks that knew him best, his TV dad, Bill Cosby, reflecting on that life, talking about how professional he was to work with, how he was very well studied, how he always remembered his lines, how he didn't even bump into the furniture. He knew what to do. And remembering him in a very similar way to his son, Ennis, who was killed many years ago. But remembering him, as somebody who was committed to his craft and was just a joy to be around, a joy to work with. Again, our thoughts, our prayers are with the family of Malcolm Jamal-Warner, close friends of Malcolm Jamal-Warner, with the cast of The Cosby Show, who clearly had a very special relationship. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580 in memory of Malcolm Jamal-Warner. In our next hour, we're going to, by popular demand, replay an interview with an Olympic gold medalist swimmer on a mission to make sure that more of us are tapped into everything it takes to swim safely and are aware of resources out there to help us to achieve that. So you're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More in our next hour with Cullen Jones, Olympic gold medalist. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is again calling for all National Guard troops and Marines to be removed from the city, saying they're unnecessary and inappropriately deployed.
They are not authorized to make arrests. They are not doing the work of our local and state law enforcement. They're not trained to do that, and they were never needed to do that.
She claims many have nothing to do, with some reportedly playing video games, and urges President Trump to pull the rest out. Usher is the new face of Ralph Lauren's Club New York Eau de Parfum, marking his first fragrance campaign and the brand's first with a major award-winning artist. Usher called the partnership a reflection of the man he aspired